Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. Of course, I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us. We always love doing this.
Yes, we sure do.
Yeah, and Mom, are you able to let us know what show are we speaking about here today?
Yes, we're going to continue with our winter theme, but we're going to go to TV show today. So we're going to talk about Mary Tyler Moore, and we're going to go specifically to season 1, and we're going to talk about the episode called Christmas and the Hard Luck Kid.
Yes, and this is episode 14 of the series overall.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, and Mom, this is your first time seeing this episode.
It is. It is my first time seeing this episode.
Yes, and so this is my second time. I've seen all of the first season and the beginning of the second, and Mom, I'm excited for us to dive into it.
Alrighty, and just let the audience know you were the one who selected the TV show today. And so in this particular episode, it is Mary's first year on the job, or her first few months on the job, and she discovers that she actually has to work during the holidays. She thought she was off, and she was making plans with her mother, and then found out that she has to work on Christmas Day itself. And so she actually has to lean on her work family for the holiday season. And that is the episode in a nutshell.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and overall, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was an enjoyable episode. I mean, it showed Mary in both ways in regards to, they showed her in her home life, with her new apartment and with her friends, with Rhoda and Phyllis. And then we also got to see her in her work life. And then we got a little bit of her personal life in regards to, she was speaking with her mom. So we got to see all three realms in this episode.
Yeah, and I believe this is only the third episode of the series that you've seen overall.
Yeah, it is actually the third episode that I've seen. You would think that I've watched it, and I really like watching the show. It's just because of the sake of time, I have not actually seen more than just a couple episodes.
Yeah, and so we're definitely going to let's dive into that a little bit later during this discussion. But overall, I thought that one of the reasons as to why I recommended this episode is because I feel like it sort of really embodied the spirit of Christmas, but also add realism in that not everything always works out, but that doesn't mean that we can't try.
Yeah, very true. And then sometimes you have to lean on other people, and which is what she had to do in this particular episode since she wasn't able to make it home.
Yeah, and not only did she have to work on Christmas, but she had to additionally work on Christmas Eve because she was covering for someone.
Yeah, she did. She did both, and I didn't think of this per se in the fact of the news media, but someone does have to work the holidays, and which is what she had to do in this case.
Yeah, and what I thought was interesting is that at the very beginning, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, she was on the call with her mom, and her mom was having trouble understanding why she couldn't be home on Christmas Eve.
Yes, and which I understand why a mother would think that.
But Mary was trying to explain to her, it's like, Mom, yeah, this isn't like any other job. Yeah, somebody has to be here, and so I'm one of the people that will be here Christmas Eve. But I will be home, late in the day on Christmas, but that's not the case.
Yeah, she found out for Lou Grant and realized, who probably didn't realize that she had no idea.
But yeah, and what I found interesting was that even though she did have to work on Christmas Eve, both the day and then the actual eve of Christmas Eve, is that the workplace still seemed to not have that many people there.
No, there was not a lot of people there, but it's probably that way around the holidays anyway. But she did get a chance, which I did like, to have Christmas with Rhoda. And I thought they did a really nice job of that.
Yeah, and overall, what did you think about Mary and Rhoda's interactions?
I like their interactions. So I thought like I said, I've only seen a couple episodes of Mary Tyler Moore, and so I've always liked the reaction that Rhoda and Mary have with each other.
But yeah, and I like that they had their giant gifts and their big wrapping, but apparently that's actually not wrapped.
Yes, yeah. We found that entertaining as we were watching them unwrap, and they weren't really wrapped gifts, but they appeared as though they were wrapped gifts. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering they had a whole conversation. We haven't had time to wrap yet, even though, in our perspective, I mean, that's close enough.
Yeah, it did. It did.
But one of the things that I wanted to speak about a little bit, too, with this is that we get to see a different side to Mary's coworkers. And for you, this is probably one of your first times actually getting to know them past the first episode.
It is. I had to go back in my memory a little bit to kind of remember a little bit about their personal lives, because they didn't say, of course, during the first episode, they only save us so much.
But yeah, because if I remember correctly, the two episodes you'd seen were episodes 1 and 2. The first episode was about Mary starting her job, and the second one was about, I believe, her ex boyfriend coming back to town.
Yes, yes, very true.
But this is the first episode that we've seen, though. Well, for you, that yeah, that Mary has evolved a little bit in her life, and now that we actually get to see her friendships in full force, and so, what do you think overall about the character dynamics between everybody?
Well, I think they do a really nice job with the character dynamics. I'm sorry. They did a great job with the character dynamics here. I think that Murray is the person who is probably the sane one out of the group per se, and so, or at least by appearance from me with a nice 3 episodes that I've seen, and so Mary seems to get along well with him. Ted seems to have his own really loud personality, and then of course Mr. Grant is just, all I can say is Mr. Grant. He seems to be the same in all the episodes.
But yes, and in this too, Mr. Grant does give Mary a little Christmas card.
Yes, he does. He does.
But yeah, and accidentally gives a blank check with it.
Yes, which was entertaining because then he filled in the gap of whatever it is that check was for.
But yeah, so I definitely thought that was a very humorous scene. But something that I like about it, about this episode, is that in the end, the boss and coworkers do come around for Mary.
Yeah, they do. They do come back and they say they want to have a work party and to include Mary in it. Of course, it is close to midnight at that time period, but yes, they do include her in their work party.
Yeah, and I like too that within this is that they didn't forget about her, but in the same regard, they didn't try to do oh well, you know what, forget about it, we don't need a worker here, because that's not really reality. Been said, decided to join her, and so I thought that was sort of the probably one of the most real Christmas experiences that we've seen on television.
Yes, yes. I'm glad they brought her. They brought her in, and they were able to hang out with her off screen later.
But yes, and we very briefly see Phyllis in this episode.
Yes, she was just there hiding gifts.
But yeah, and so overall, though, since this is the first time on this channel that we've spoken about the Mary Tyler Moore Show, since we spoke about it in March on our previous series. And so, Mom, what do you think about the theme song for the show?
Oh, I love the theme song. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I think it's very appropriate for this show.
Yes, I truly love the song. Love is all around, especially the rendition that they have within this first season, and yeah, and of course, a little bit of connection is that, of course, Mary Tyler Moore, the actress, was previously in the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yes, and we talked about the Dick Van Dyke Show quite a while ago.
Yes, and Dick Van Dyke actually just turned 99.
Yeah, he did. He did, which is amazing.
But yes, and so overall, so anything else that you want to say for this episode?
No, I just thought for a Christmas episode, and we were looking for some just regular TV shows with a Christmas episode or a wintry theme, and so I really like this episode.
Yeah, I did as well. And as a fun fact, having done a little bit of research, is I believe TV Guide had actually rated this as the best ever Christmas episode.
Oh wow, that's surprising for me. I mean, it was good, but I didn't think it was that good. So that is surprising.
But Mom, are you ready to go ahead and end this out?
I sure am, Brandon. We thank everyone for joining us today. Let us know what some of your favorite Christmas episodes are.
Yes, definitely. Please do.
All right, everybody, have a great day.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.